My name is Greg Dike. My name is Greg Dike. I'm associated with Zebashinga Yaks and part of the organizing group for this conference. This is certainly the first yak husbandry conference east of the Mississippi, and have they ever had one out west on yak husbandry?
I don't believe so.
So this may be the first one in the United States history. So you are here for this moment, and this isn't just about yaks. I really want us to be clear on that. That whereas we're going to talk about yak things, a key part, I think, for the future really is that connection. I mean, yaks and beef cattle genetically, species-wise, we're all one, separated. I think there's a coming together where everybody can benefit. The beef industry, as maybe yaks can bring things to bear genetically, and just sort of working together on meat issues and things like that. So this is kind of a time to learn and to hear the experimental stuff that they're going to talk about with the AI program, which would certainly impact not only the yak industry, but could really do things with beef, but also to think about what is possible. So let your mind wander in good ways as we do this. First Thanksgiving to Morehead State University, because they gave us this facility to use at no cost, and I mean it's just a great place to be, and be able to pull things into the arena and not be out in the cold is a wonderful treat. And so Thanksgiving there, and I'd just like to quickly introduce you to the people who know the stuff. So Dr. Arnold from UK Diagnostic Lab, Dr. Prater from Morehead State, Jeff, you're here somewhere, Plum Cooler from UK, Dr. Harrelson from MSU, Ted, who's from everywhere, UK and many places in your own business.
And my own business that works for US.
Yeah, works with US Yak. Also, we have a chef who will be here. He's from University of Kentucky. He's on faculty there, and he'll be preparing yak meat for you to try and that sort of thing. And we have another chef here by the name of Jesse Brown, who's hiding in the kitchen, and he's got all the other stuff. If there are any vegetarians here, those options are there as well. So hopefully we have you covered. If you need anything, speak up, and we'll move along. Okay, so unfortunately, this is a great bowl lunch.
You didn't name him, did you?
Rocket. Here's our schedule. We're pretty much going to stay on track. Okay, so key thing for this is there's going to be presentations, demonstrations. They're going to be recorded. You'll have access to the recordings and that sort of thing in the future. But ask questions. This is you've got some great people to speak with outside the presentations, but ask during, because we'll all learn from them. Okay, so I just want to quickly look at why considering yaks for those who aren't raising yaks, and probably some of us who do raise them every so often when we've got them too. This is a meat analysis from a grass-fed yak done a couple years ago. You can see it's a high protein level, low cholesterol, and it has some of the nice things you like to see with omega-3s and the linoleic acid and that sort of thing. This is grass-fed. If it's fed on grain, it's going to look different. If it's hybrid, it's going to look different. One of the things is, well, where does the money come from? These are samples taken from around the U.S., from people who are selling yak meat. And you can see the ground, goes from $8. That's not grass-fed, and it's hybrid yak, to warn you. And that's why it's cheaper, but it goes from $10 to $14. Steaks, range to say, quite a bit. And here in Kentucky, I guess I'm high priced. I just figured, well, ground meat, I'll just double it for the steaks and the roasts. And people buy it, people like it. There is money, available. There are two things that are really important. One is, and you've got the master of Yak's meat sales, Bob Hossey, back there in the red shirt. Key thing is developing your own. You got to develop a market because I remember the first time I tried to sell yak meat and I thought it was like a rodent. So one thing is the marketing. The other thing is once you do develop a market, the key thing about yaks is demand will exceed supply, and so that's a huge issue. And that's an issue where people have said, oh, you can do a hybrid, which is what the Kansas people have done, because you can grow them faster. It's not quite the same meat. It's different than beef. It's going to have some of the yak attributes. But there's a niche there. But there's a great need for people to raise yaks and I think cooperatively work at making sure, oh, Bob, you've got a contract with the restaurant. I've got extra. Let's get you the meat. So as we work together, I think that there's real potential there. These are the key issues, at least for me. If you take a yak and you haul it off, and all you do is get meat with no bones back, from live weight to what I get back is about 30 to 33%. Again, there's no readily available market. People who use the farmer's market. Robert Sissel out in Virginia, he survives off of that. He quit his IT job. He does the farmer's market, makes a living. Supply is the key issue. And one of the other things is yaks are considered exotic by USDA, which means you got to go through a couple extra loops with the slaughterhouses to get USDA approval. The other thing that's not mentioned, I think, is that for the USDA, and this was told me by the people who have the hybrid yak in Kansas, is that if an animal is 39% yak, from the USDA point of view, you can sell it as yak. Take a picture of both of them, you can see quite a difference. The hybrid or the grain fed can have a lot of fat and so on, and the yak meat will look like just deep red. And I've got some in a little freezer up there for you to, if you want to look at it, see what it really looks like. Okay, so that's, the meat is the big thing other than breeding stock. The other thing that you can do with yak, which is interesting, is they grow an underfiber. They have the outer hair, and then they grow a down fiber, and a decent yak, its down fiber will be the same quality as cashmere. So there, that has a marketing capacity. Out in the west, you comb it up, it releases. You don't have to cut it or anything. It releases, and out west, it's getting it early in the spring, right?
Yeah.
In Kentucky, I mean, we're just slow. Well, maybe I'll release some in July or something. So it's almost a long summer detail, in terms of combing them out and that sort of thing. And at least our experience is you get 1 to 2 pounds per yak. And if you keep working them more and more, I think, there's always more to be had if you just want to do the work. And you can market it in a variety of ways. Raw, which is what I've done after a while, is you can sell it for $20 to $60 a pound based on quality and who wants it, the roving and that sort of thing. And I think I've got some prices. So this is from Etsy. The roving went for just under $7 an ounce. Yarn, and it usually makes the yak with merino or something, about a 50-50 mix, or silk or bamboo. Seem to be an average of around $39 a skein. This farm out in the Yak or Two, which is in Michigan, theirs is $60 a skein. It was probably de-haired, which added to its value. And one place you could buy the wash, it's just washed fiber, and this is an Etsy thing. A kilogram was $180. So there is potential to make money. It's work to comb them out. Unless you really train your yak to be real friendly and loving, and then people just talk about, coming them out in the field, mind going squeeze shoot. The other thing with yaks that you can do, and some people have done in Alaska and other places, is yaks are traditionally pack animals in Tibet. They're the jeep of the country, and sort of like the buffalo of the culture. But as pack animals, but also for agritourism, for trekking and that sort of thing. And you can go online, you see people trekking Europe with these yaks, carrying all their stuff. You could do it in Alaska, but in Kentucky you've got the Sheltowee Trail, which is hundreds of miles. There's no reason you couldn't do it there as well. So that's another economic possibility. In terms of environmental considerations and things like that, they have less forage consumption. You can finish them entirely on grass or hay. Females are half the size of bulls, so you don't have a 1,000-pound female, you get a 1,000-pound meat animal out of it. Cold tolerant, and one of the interesting things is that we have to do water management reports and things like that. And so one of the things they always are interested in is how you handle the manure. Well, at least our experience is the yaks were longer, and so there's this much more even distribution. So you're not dealing with these big piles of manure every which way, which makes it easier. In terms of inputs, at least from my experience, give them something good to eat, grass and hay, water, that's it. Fencing, kind of typical woven wire or whatever. They're not big fence testers, but you need some kind of management thing with minding the squeeze chute, and some corrals and that kind of thing just for handling. Shelter, I was told to build shelters from the sun and the rain, and the bulls like to sleep under it, and the cows just sleep everywhere else. So anything I build that looks like it'll be nice and like a bed, the bulls take. Vaccinations, we do a couple things like Ultrabac and Triangle 10 type deals. In our area, some people don't do any. Trace mineral supplements, key thing. Dr. Arnold, I'm sure will have a few words on that. It's about health, it's about growth. I had a bull, and I gave it a bunch of copper, and it changed its hair color. Went from brown to black. You're looking different.
Did it go back to brown, or did it stay?
No, it stayed. I used the copper shore, and then what I find, and maybe other yak people do, is the key thing to yak health is just watch your herd. If somebody looks like they've got the flu, deal with it. You just need to just watch them and just look for changes. And then good genetic based breeding is critical, because the yaks come from such a small gene pool, and Ted I'm sure we'll hit on that, that you can end up having negative impacts by bad breeding. So that's it. Let's get the good people up. Michelle.